I wanted to do a reading tonight about trying to understand why there continues to be mass shootings. My thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of Las Vegas. It's tragic, and all of the mass shootings that have happened are so tragic, and it's heartbreaking that we can't seem to rise above this petty violence, but I do feel like this reading is going to give a lot of insight into why this keeps happening. Basically what I got was that these people that perpetrate these types of crimes, they want to exercise control, okay? And it's not so much control over the individuals. It's more of like a collective thought, or they want to exercise control over like the system, okay? So what I mean by system would, most likely be understood as like the government or just society in general. And that is what they're trying to do. Now, I also got a little bit that they do sometimes hope for to gain some notoriety, okay? So they may not have ever felt very important in their life, and so they would do this sort of act to gain notoriety and become somebody, okay? Now, what I got was that they want people to not feel safe, like in any activity or place that they go. They don't want people to feel safe. They want people to feel like bound to fear, okay, and bound to running away from that fear. They want people to live in fear, okay? And another, sorry, I totally forgot about, there's one other aspect to this type of person is that they actually feel cheated by the system. They never felt like they got a fair break in their life, whatever means that would be, because it's it's in connection with society in general. So I mean, obviously there's more than one person like this. So I mean, for somebody it could be they felt cheated by the government. For other people it could be they felt cheated by people that they encountered in their life, past loves or family, or maybe they could never make as much money as they wanted, or maybe they wanted to be famous and they never made it. So there's a lot of reasons that could apply, because there's a lot of different people that do these sorts of things. So their main goal is to gain some sort of control over society and to create fear, and to try to make people feel like they're living in fear, like there's nowhere you can go, nowhere you can escape, that you're bound to it, okay? Now, I asked why they do that, okay? And basically, it's literally so that they can have the options to choose, which place they want to hit. Like, they want to be able to say, okay, let's go hit the concert, let's go hit the grocery store, let's go hit the I don't know what else, movie theater, you know, like they want people to not feel safe anywhere. So that is why they choose all these different places, because they want to create this confusion and this feeling like there's nowhere to run to, there's nowhere to hide, like we're everywhere type thing. Now these people obviously are not working in conjunction with each other to create this. This is sort of a like blanket energy that has in a sense been like laid over the world, okay? And I know that sounds weird, but there's a reason for it, and I'm gonna explain it. Because I asked, you know, I'm trying to ask the universe, like, why does this keep happening? And there's a very specific reason for it, okay? And so that's what led me to believe that it's some sort of blanket energy that has been laid over the world, and it's not going to be solved until a very specific thing happens. Now, when I asked the cards, why do they want to kill people, okay, it was very clear to me. They're disillusioned by the system, so they want to create change, okay? So these people in general, this is what's happened to them. Like I said, it could be many, many different reasons. Just disillusionment with the system, meaning society, okay? So they're unhappy with the state of affairs of society, as well as probably most likely, specifically their own society in relation to their own life, okay? So it would be like, one person had issues with, you know, relationships. Another person has issues with the government. Another person has issues with, you know, not being able to make enough money, you know, like things like that, okay? So just personal issues with society and culture, okay? Now, I asked the cards, will we ever be able to stop it? What I got was, putting up a defense will pretty much be foolish, because it's going to continue to happen. Okay, so putting up a defense is foolish because it's going to keep happening. Now I was confused by that, because you would think, like, wait, shouldn't we be defending ourselves, you know, from preventing this from happening again? So I asked it again because it confused me, and this is the answer right here. It's very, very telling. It basically says you can make it stop, but the whole world has to agree. The whole world has to choose to make it stop. That is profound, because it's literally God saying, I'm trying to make you guys to choose to not kill each other, to not have war, to not have guns, to not have violence. And it's an interesting way, because it's like the way he's trying to teach us the lesson is like he's gonna let it keep happening until we choose to not have these things in our lives. And you know, it's funny because all the time people say, how many more people have to die? How many more people have to die? And literally, God is saying the exact same thing. So it's very, very interesting. And I hope that, people can understand that, like, what this world is, why we're here. It's to teach us about love. If you've ever watched a near-death experience video on YouTube, I highly suggest you go do that, because, or multiple ones. I have watched probably hundreds at this point. And, they all talk about this pure love, unconditional, pure love that's awaits us, right? And I've heard them say that the reason why we're here is because it's a reverse way of teaching us. It's like, how can you appreciate love? Because technically we're on the other side. That's all there is love and joy and happiness. So how can you appreciate that if you don't experience pain, anguish, heartache, sorrow, right? So that's what we're doing here. That's why there's all those things on this planet. And I know a lot of people get confused, and they say, well, what kind of a God would let murder and death and pain and sorrow and depression and all those things happen? It's literally his teaching tool. So that's why he lets these things continue. And it's interesting because, I've seen near-death experience videos where people go back, they, cross over, and then they come back, and they can't even watch violence on TV because they understand now, like, what true love is and how it's so unnecessary to have any sort of violence. So they can't even, like, watch it on TV. They can't even watch a movie that, somebody's, like, shooting another person. And it's like, how can we expect people to not want to kill each other if we continue to allow people to kill each other for pretend? Like, for entertainment. Death and pain and sorrow, we can choose to not highlight those things and not say that's our entertainment, because it's like, why can't love and happiness and why can't that be our entertainment? So we have to choose, because technically we don't have to feel this way. We really don't. But if you continue to let those things control our lives, and it's funny because I always was the type of person that felt like, well, yeah, maybe everybody should have a gun, because maybe that will help the issue. And yeah, technically, like, if everyone had a gun, technically if somebody wanted to come in and try to mass shoot people, yeah, they would be killed almost instantly. But what these cards were saying to me was that that's a foolish idea, because it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if you still have the guns, people are still going to kill each other. And, honestly, I thought about it, and I was like, wow, that is so right, because, look at what, like, the Wild Wild West was. Like, so many people got killed over, like, nothing back then. People would get shot for, like, looking at somebody the wrong way, or, you know, get like something of theirs stolen and be killed over it. You know, or just like getting into a fight with somebody, you would end up dead. Like, so, I mean, we actually were like kind of coming along in the idea that like not everybody had a gun, and you know, there was a time where people could leave their doors unlocked and, you know, and they felt safe. So it's interesting to me that like we're kind of regressing a little bit. And we need to elevate ourselves. We need to try to move forward rather than backwards. And forwards is choosing to not glorify violence, to not pick up a gun for any reason, including war. Like, war should not be exempt. We should not have war. We should regard human life as precious. Everybody's life precious. And, you know, if somebody was to have an illness of some sort, and they did, obviously, because you don't need a gun to inflict pain and sorrow and, you know, and death on people. You know, I don't believe that we should have eye for an eye, because, you know, you have to let that person learn their lesson. So, I don't know. It's clear to me that, you know, we as a whole would have to choose to end it, to get rid of war, guns, violence, death, you know, all these things, like inflicting pain and sorrow on other people, using violence and those things for our entertainment. We would have to choose as a whole to get rid of it. And I mean, unfortunately, I don't really see that happening. You know, people are addicted to it. It's some sort of adrenaline rush or something, I don't know, but you know, and these people that do this sort of thing, they feel unimportant. And so and that may be because of our disconnection from each other, you know, that someone feels so unimportant that they felt like they needed to flex that control. So, I don't know, but I hate to say this, but I don't see it stopping anytime soon until we all choose. Which, you know, I mean, there's almost 9 billion people on the planet. I think that'd be pretty difficult. But, you know, that may be the exact tool that God, you know, wants to use to teach us all. So, I guess just do your best to spread love, and obviously just try your best to not put yourself in harm's way. So that's all I have. God bless, and I pray that, you know, we all can choose love. All right, thank you. Have a good night.